Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Industry Show. Today, I'm here with two talented actors. I have Michael Johnson here with me and Charmar Jeter. Thank y'all for being my guest today.
Thanks for having us.
All right, so I know y'all do movies, y'all do TV shows, commercials, y'all done it all, right?
Yeah.
I want to take y'all back a little bit to the beginning. Like, what was the first role that suitified your passion for acting? Like, what was day one like, or something that said, "I really want to do this" from the beginning?
Okay, I'll take it. I really wouldn't say it was a role. I would say it was my childhood.
Okay.
The way I grew up, I was a tight knitted family with my brothers and sisters, and my mom was always like wanting us to perform, always wanting us to dance, get up and show her the new dance moves and stuff. Like that,
Yeah.
so she can keep up with the youth.
You sound like mine.
So doing that, she would have parties and stuff like that, and we would always get up and dance in front of people. I think that sparked like the entertainment bug in me, learning how to perform and how to control a crowd and how to get people to like and pay attention to what you were doing.
Absolutely, absolutely.
So I think that was my initial spark.
I
Right?
think if you remember Eddie Murphy Raw, that's how the beginning showed. When he was in the living room performing in front of his family.
That's right.
And he told that little dirty joke. right? That's what made me think of that when you said that. What about you, Michael?
Well, I'll be absolutely honest with you. My start is actually 180 in the other direction.
Uh-huh.
I never really wanted to pursue acting.
Oh, okay.
I'll tell you what happened.
So many people say that. It's crazy.
I'll tell you. A
Yeah, I
friend
didn't
of
mean to cut
mine.
you off, but go ahead.
No worries, man. A friend of mine had a son who wanted to be a model, but I knew a talent agent,
Mm-hmm.
so I took him to sign him up, get him signed up
Okay.
for their modeling situation.
Mm-hmm.
And on my way out the door, the receptionist said to me, "Well, what are you going to do?"
Wow.
And I said, "I'm not going to do anything. I'm too
Mhm.
old."
Mm-hmm.
No, you're not.
She said, "No, you're not."
Mm-hmm.
She said, "We need doctors, we need lawyers, we need police officers, we need grandfathers,
Absolutely.
we need fathers." And it never dawned on me, of course, that's in television and film.
Right, right.
So I took the course, and the acting coach asked me on the third day of class, he said, "Mike, you ever did this before?"
Mm-hmm.
I said, "No." He said, "Okay." Then the fourth week came, and he said, "You sure you never did this before?" I said, "Absolutely not." Then the fifth week came, and he said, "Okay, everybody, before class starts, I want to tell you about this thing called casting networks.
Mm-hmm.
Go on there, sign up, put in your profile, and they start sending you jobs to match your profile."
Right.
So I did that. I knew he was talking to me. I knew he was talking to me. Because, after I finished taking the class, the young man started taking the class, and he said, "Pop, he always talk about you before the class even started."
Mm-hmm.
Right? Anyway, so I went on, did casting networks, and I got a role in this show called A Crime to Remember.
Mm-hmm.
And I had one of the lead roles as a lawyer. And it was just an experience for me,
Mm-hmm.
in the different wardrobe and everything. And I made a rookie mistake on set.
What's
one
that?
day. I had my cell phone.
Oh, uh-huh.
They had cell phones back in
Right.
1946. Not that we know about. So I'm sitting in the jail cell, me and two of the other characters, and I had my phone right in my pocket, right? So the director says, "All right, quiet all around." Then all of a sudden you start hearing, "Hello? Hello? Hello?" So I clammed up. Didn't know the sound man was right above me
Uh-huh.
with the boom, right? Above the wall. He said, "It's coming from right there."
Mm-hmm.
He was pointing at me.
Same thing like the story I just said about Eddie Murphy. Another Eddie Murphy story when they was shooting Life.
Okay.
Martin Lawrence and Eddie Murphy was in the car. That was a timepiece. It was supposed to be in the 30s.
Right.
And I think Martin Lawrence's phone rang in the seat. It's like, you had no phones back then?
Right,
So,
right.
Yeah, so yeah, it
Neither-
happens.
Right.
It happens.
But that was the lesson I needed, and I got the bug from then on.
That's where Quiet on the Set came from, right?
Right. So
Okay, so
that was it.
Okay.
I was hooked.
Okay. So how do y'all approach researching a role, especially when it's someone from a different background?
Well, the way I research a role, actually, first I find out what the role is. I find out what the character's background is, what they do, of course, and then I research for that particular role. Now, as far as police officers and detectives and stuff go, since I used to do some of that work, that's not a stretch for me.
Right.
Anything else? Hey, you got YouTube University and everywhere
Right,
else.
yeah.
You know,
That's the
pick
source.
up a piece of paper and read. You know, actually read and get yourself into it, actually, and do the research, and then act it out, get your mind right for it, and then immerse yourself totally in that character. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And just to piggyback off of what he was saying, and do a little background on the writer, see like how the writer writes, the flow of his scenes and stuff like that, and then you want to dive into your character. You definitely want to connect with him. Draw that bridge to something that you can relate to and you can piggyback off of, and then you just want to put a before and an after the scene.
Right.
And then you just want that connection to be just authentic, as
Right,
authentic
yeah.
as possible. And piggybacking off of what Mike said, I think there goes diving into the character.
Okay.
Yeah.
So can y'all both share an example of a challenging scene that you had to tackle, and how did you prepare for it? I know y'all done a lot to think about, but something that was really challenging for y'all.
I got one for you.
Okay, go ahead, Charmar.
I did this short film. It's called Opposites Attraction. No, I'm sorry, In Time for Valentine. And this was one that I had wrote, directed, and produced myself.
Oh, okay.
I won some awards for this one.
Oh, good. Congratulations.
Thank you. I appreciate that. With this film, it took place in New Jersey, and it was out in the woods. This day was probably one of the coldest days out the year, so it was snowing like crazy. There was snow all over the place, and we had to be outside for, I'd say, probably about 10 hours. So,
Wow, it's challenging. Yeah.
yeah, we took food out there with us. We wanted to stay out there and make the scene as real as possible because my character Jack was lost in the woods. So I wanted to have that impression and that feel on myself. I wanted to be cold, as if somebody that was lost in the woods.
Right.
I wanted to have that feeling of loss being out there and then being out there and at night. So my character ended up getting attacked by a grizzly bear. So what we did was we put a bunch of snow on top of me. And I had to lay there on the ground for probably about like a good 3 hours. When you're laying on the ground and it's cold outside like that,
It's hard.
woo,
Yeah.
you wanna feel
hard.
that. I mean, your fingertips, everybody's been outside for
Right.
a long period of time and you're freezing to where
Yeah,
your
you
hands
can't
hurt
feel
and all
nothing. Numbness.
That was one of those moments where it was like one of the toughest times to be on set. To stay outside that long, and then when you're already cold and then putting snow on your face and still stay in character, that was very challenging.
Well, I imagine that really had to be challenging. You said you wore so many different hats in that production. You're writer, director, and actor.
Yes.
And then being out in the elements like that for 10 hours.
He's
Yes.
good.
I know he's good, yeah, but
He's good.
that's a lot.
All of us
That's
are.
That's a stretch. Yeah, you got to.
He's good.
People think it's easy in this business, but it's not.
not.
It's
It's
a lot.
not.
It's a lot.
Because a lot of times, like when you get a character and just say your character is a surfer or a scuba diver or something, you actually have to do that. Even if you don't know how to do it, you have to research, find out what it's about, and then actually perform that.
Right.
And that is challenging. Something even
And
just
know
as
the lines.
yeah, absolutely.
We're on top of that, right?
Know your lines.
Something just as simple. There was a scene that I did with Mike, and it was in I think it was agoraphobia. Agatophobia. I'm sorry, I pronounced that wrong. And as a detective, I had to kneel down over a body and look at the body parts, and just kneeling down for like about a half an hour, about a good 45 minutes, and staying into that position and just looking at that and being in hold, letting the cameras frame you up and all that. Look, when you start getting a little older, them knees ain't the same as like when you.
Blood supplies.
Remember, we did that in the payback. When we did the payback, when you detect, you had to look over the body.
Absolutely.
Chuck, but
Absolutely.
Yeah, you got to get into that role of
Absolutely.
knowing it.
Yes.
Yeah.
And with the lighting, the camera setting, and all that, you have to stay there into that same position. That is not always easy.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah.
That's the
What
truth.
about you, sir?
Well, I've had a couple roles here and there, but I think my toughest one to date really wasn't the physicality of it, but I just did a film called A Complete Unknown about Bob Dylan and his coming through, and going from being a folk guitarist to an electric rock guitarist. The toughest for me was just getting my mind set that I was going to be in the scene with Ed Norton and Timothy Chalamet, Scoop McNairy from Narcos. Now, with them three guys, man, I was like, wow, okay. I got to bring it.
Yeah.
Like I
Right.
know they can bring it.
Pressure. That was pressure right
You know
there.
what I mean?
Yeah.
I got to
Right.
bring it like I know they can bring it. You
Uh-huh.
know what I'm saying? So I played an orderly in that, and they were all very gracious towards me, and I think that was cool. I think we did that scene maybe about 18 times
Wow.
because that's what the director wanted, and that was cool. And you know, he wanted timing and stuff, so he wanted me to deliver the lines and keep moving in and keep moving, right? And I had a scene where actually myself and Ed Norton have a dialogue together, right? So just working through that, actually, you know, talking with Chalamet and taking the cigarette out of Scoot's mouth and everything. And it was awesome. But I think just getting your mind wrapped around, you know, okay, you're here with these guys.
Right.
I mean, come on, Doom, Norton with Fight Club, you know,
Right.
and everything else, and McNairy with Narcos. You know, just coming to the conclusion that hey,
You made it.
Yeah. Right. Right.
if you couldn't
Now-
bring it, you wouldn't be here. So
So y'all, now, I'm quite sure you have too. Y'all worked around celebrities before, right?
A lot.
Or
Yeah.
does y'all take do you have to take it up to another level when y'all? Is that more pressure?
It's more pressure. I think it's like you build yourself up with the anticipation. Like you already know these people are great. They made it.
right.
They done did
They did.
everything. Yeah, they done did everything that we wanted to
Want to
do.
do right.
And it's like now we're acting alongside them. So the pressure is like, okay, I know I'm good because
Right.
I'm here. But damn, am I that good?
Right. Right. Right.
Am I gonna measure up?
Right. Am I fleet? Right. Somebody pinch me.
I think the pressure for me is not to overdo it.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Overacting, trying to like you're competing with them. No,
Yeah.
those are your scene partners.
Right.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? You know, whenever I write a film or do a film, and like I have Charmar, he's in like every film that I do, along with a few other people. We make it like a family set.
Right.
You
Right.
know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you know, we kind of relax with it a little bit. You know, play with it, get a couple shots in, get it going a couple times. But yeah, I think the pressure is really not overacting. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like Charmar said, okay, well, we're here, so apparently we're good enough to be here with these people. So, okay, everybody knows them. Okay, now they can know us.
Yeah.
Let's just be natural with it.
Natural with it. Right.
You have the mindset of like, all right, I'm gonna show my behind up on this thing.
Right.
Wait till they see what I can
Right.
do.
Right. Can I do it? Right.
And then they call cut, and it's like, you need to tone that down. just a little bit.
Take it down a couple
There's
notches.
something fishy going on here, right?
Right.
So if we were to throw all your movie titles down on the table right now, could you pull out a favorite role that you ever played in your history here?
Wow.
Wow,
All-time favorite role.
I don't have one.
You don't have an all-time favorite?
No, because you know what? I love being a mall.
Okay.
Like I always had the mindset. I was always great at everything that I tried putting my mind to. So whenever I got into any type of character, it was just always fascinating and embodying the life of this person. So I loved every single one of them. From like a janitor to a football player, NFL player to all of them.
Right.
It was just like, wow, this is something that I always imagined that I can do, or something that I thought about, and now I'm actually doing it.
Yeah. That's
It's
awesome.
mind blowing.
What about, so let me twist the question a little bit then. Have you ever played a role that you really could relate to? Like, this is me. And it may have been easier to transform into that character.
I think for me, it would be on FBI Most Wanted.
As your favorite role?
Police chief. Well, like Charmar said, all of them are basically my favorite roles.
Right, okay.
'cause you get to be so many different people at different times, and that's awesome, you know. But like, I don't have a favorite per se, but one that's closest
Mm-hmm.
to my natural,
Right.
my real life would be that on FBI Most Wanted as a police chief. I just like that stuff.
Yeah.
You
You,
know?
you did well with that too.
Thank you.
did well.
And I would say, when you do acting, you start finding out things about yourself that you didn't know.
Mm-hmm.
And with different characters, even like I done played some serial killers and stuff. You end up going into sides of you that you didn't even know was there.
Right. Yeah.
You know, and
Absolutely.
you open up doors
Mm-hmm.
that you end up relating to different characters in ways that you never imagined.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and with me, like I would say, it's still always all of the characters, but it's just so fascinating. Like when you can pick a judge, FBI, you know, school teacher,
Mm-hmm.
and then inside you, some part relates to that and is authentic.
Yeah.
It's mind blowing.
Like what he said, when you get into acting really and you start playing different roles and start seeing different sides of yourself.
Yeah.
Like I played a killer in this film called The Town of Evil.
Mm-hmm.
And it was myself and a few others, but we weren't all in the same scene.
At the same time,
we
right,
were
yeah.
doing all that massacring and slaughtering and all that kind of stuff. But you can really go there when the camera's rolling and they
Yeah.
say action. You know what I
Right.
mean? Now you're a villain.
Yeah.
Now, when you see yourself on film in the roles, do you surprise yourself like, dang, I did
yeah.
that?
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
You be at the premiere like, oh,
Right.
snap. Yo, that's me.
Look, one of my birthdays, right?
Right.
Some people had gone on IMDb and pulled down some trailers and some films that I have up there, right? And while I was sitting there looking, I was like, wow, I did that. You know, it's like, you
Like
forget.
an out of body experience,
Yeah,
right?
it's like you were there, you know you did it, but then when you sit back and see it, you're like,
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
that's all right.
Okay. So what is your approach to handling creative differences with a director?
Want me to go?
Go, get it on.
Well, one, I don't know if it's well, I guess it could be a creative difference.
Mm-hmm.
One, if I'm talking to another character in there, we have a dialogue, and again, we're shooting this scene, and we're up to number 16 now. And it's like, well, no, I need you to keep moving. I need you to keep moving, keep moving, keep moving. I'm like, okay. Do it like you did when you started. You know, you did it, you said it, and you kept moving. And I said, well, no, sir.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't actually stop, had the conversation, and moved on. And he was like, no, you didn't. I said, okay. I'll do it the way you say do it.
Mm-hmm.
And by the time I finished my last line, I was so far down the hall and offset. It was like, wait a minute.
We shouldn't have did it that way.
So he tells
Mike,
the,
you were right.
he tells the guy, he said, wait a minute, that's not what you did before.
Right.
I said, absolutely, because we having a conversation here.
Yeah.
And he tells the guy to play it back. Play back the first ones, the first 2 or 3 that he did. And now, we're on a professional set.
Right.
It's about 50 to 75 people there. Everybody's like around the monitors. They want to see who's right now.
Yeah.
Right.
Right? So I'm just standing there like this because I know what I did.
Mm-hmm. Like I
Right.
told you.
And then he says, I stand corrected. I said, no, sir, we're here to work together. You know, I know what I did. I'm not trying to,
Mm-hmm.
I don't want 30 extra seconds of screen time. I ain't worried about that.
Right.
I just want the best thing for you. You tell me what to do.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how I do it.
Okay.
And I would say I just look at it like I'm a student. I'm a student of the game.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so whenever I'm on set, the director's the teacher.
Right.
I'm trying to learn from him. So and I work with Mike plenty of times, and he's been a director, you know, and I've been a student. So I'll sit back, whatever information that he gives me, I'm going to utilize it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to absorb it and put it to work.
Right.
And once he sits back and looks at it on camera, if he likes it, good, I did a good job. If not, let's do it again.
Right.
I'm just always the student.
You always do a good job.
All right, most of the time.
That was the time.
But, I always look at it like I'm the student of the game, and the director's the teacher. So whatever you're looking for, I'm going to do.
Absolutely.
Period.
You
And
give them
I'm-
what they want.
Yeah, just grateful being there on set.
Yes.
You know, having an opportunity and being able to showcase my talent. So this is your work. This is your vision as the director. So whatever you want from me, I'm going to provide it.
I'm going to give it to you.
And then I might even give you a little extra
Yeah,
that you
see.
didn't expect. And that's where the magic comes.
Yes.
So, okay, in this industry, how do y'all handle rejection?
Every day.
Every day, nothing, right?
That's
I love his
98%.
attitude. He like,
That's
whatever.
98% of the job. Listen,
every day.
yeah,
It's
I don't know about you, but I don't get every role I go for.
Right.
good
You
Lord.
know what I mean? This job, and I actually teach this in a class called Never Too Late with Wickline casting. You know, every job you put in for, you're not going to get.
Right, yeah.
But the job is to keep putting in.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Keep getting that opportunity to audition. People start remembering you. They start remembering your face, your name.
Yeah.
But the work is the audition. When you get to set, that's playtime.
But what about when you put in a lot of work for auditioning and you feel as though I got this, and then you don't get it? How
Well-
does it feel? Like, does it?
How does it feel?
Yeah. How does it make you feel?
I think like Charmar said, I'm a student of the game in that area.
Right.
I know for sure that I could audition. I could give it my all, blood, sweat, and tears. But I'm not the final say.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So you give them what they ask for, give them all you got, and then I saw Michael B. Jordan one time, and he was in an interview, and they asked him how does he audition, right? He said he go in with the script, he read the script with the reader, and he said when they say okay you finished, he ball it up, throw it in the trash. Now I'm not that brazen.
Right.
I'm not there, and I'm not that brazen. However, you have to let it go.
Right.
You have to let it go. I mean, or your heart will be broken and you'll never want to act again.
Mm-hmm.
And that was something I had to learn that. That was a challenge for me. I've been acting now for about over 13 years. The mid part of that was heartbreaking. You know, and okay,
Talking about rejection, right?
Yeah.
Or, yeah. Right.
yeah, because let me tell you, like a lot of people think I book a lot. In my eyes, I don't. And I get auditions just about every day.
Right.
You know, and a lot of times it's up to 13 auditions a week.
That's a lot. Yeah.
Sometimes I don't work in a month. So that'll tell you, like, throughout that month, how many auditions I got.
Wow.
that
Yeah.
I didn't get. You know, and then and it's like
Wow.
when you're doing this for a career and to live off of this, to make an earning and a lifestyle off of this,
Does it discourage you?
it can be very discouraging and
Yeah. I
heartbreaking.
imagine it is. Yeah.
Heartbreaking. So
Yeah.
I tell and I teach any actor, you got to have something to fall back on as far as providing for yourself, providing for your family.
Right, absolutely,
because if
yeah.
you're just living off of this, there's no guarantee,
Right.
and you're going to be heartbroken. You put you get a role. Just say I had an audition for Kerry Washington for a lead role in her new TV series. I did the audition. I put my all into it. I felt so good and strong about it. Didn't hear anything back, and I didn't have the concept. Let it go. You know, in my mind, I'm still. Damn, I'm hoping that
Still
I get that
hopeful,
phone
huh?
call.
Yeah.
Maybe they still looking at it.
Yeah.
You know, then you get other auditions start rolling in here. You do those auditions, but it's still in the back of your mind. You start building up depression, hurt. And then your confidence will start to dwindle on down because it's like you're putting your all into this, and you don't even know why you didn't book the role.
Right.
You know, and I would say for like every role,
You never find out why you did it.
exactly.
Yeah. They don't
It's
tell
just
you.
somebody else was
Yeah.
better, I guess.
Or it can be like you were great for the role. It's just that they were looking for something different.
Right.
Right.
know.
Yeah.
But you don't know that, so that beats you up on the inside.
Yeah. It does. I can imagine it does. Yeah.
I think the rejection really helps build you.
As time goes on.
Makes you go harder or better.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
As time goes on, it
Yes.
kind of builds your character and actually
Yes.
builds your strength and resistance.
Yes.
Really.
Because you start learning. As long as you're not one to get into the game and then jump out because it's hard or difficult,
Right.
or you didn't get the fruits that you thought that you were planning was going to start growing and you don't see anything. As long as you have tough skin and you're able to stick in there, you'll be okay.
You got to keep coming back.
Yeah.
You'll be okay.
And
Because
come back better than when you left.
those fast no's,
Right.
those fast no's will eventually turn into slow yeses.
Right.
You just got to keep knocking at that door.
Yeah.
All right. So, what is the most valuable lesson y'all learned through your acting career?
To be nice.
This is a chance for y'all to help somebody out there listening and watching wants to be in y'all.
You want to be nice to everybody on set. You want to treat
Absolutely
everybody kindly
Yeah.
because you never know who you're talking to.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and then somebody that you might think is a PA on set can turn around the next day and give you the best opportunity of a lifetime.
I was going to say that PA today could be the next big director
Yeah.
tomorrow.
Yeah.
So you better be nice
That
to
is
everyone.
so true. That is so true.
And I would say being nice.
Yes.
You know, you don't have to be a footstool or a mat, doormat, but you should be cordial. And the next thing is to be patient with everyone.
With everyone.
Because people that work on set all the time, they're in a frantic pace.
Yes.
I've seen, depending, from show to show. I was on Quantico, everybody's running around crazy, from set to set. And they have, time frames. And sometimes people are very short with you. But is it you or is it just a job?
Right.
So you still be you. That's the biggest thing. Always be yourself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Don't let people change you.
Just one other thing is too your hospitality. Just like I was saying, just being a good person, because you can look at sports. You got some of the best receivers in the game that teams wouldn't pick them up because of their personality, their
Yep.
characteristics.
And knowing that they can help them, I don't want to deal with his attitude.
Right.
Yep.
And that's how a
That's a
director
fact.
look at it too. You can be the best actor out there, but if your personality isn't all that great, people don't want to be around you. They'll pick the next person, even though that your talent was at a higher level.
I think a famous actor just got released from a few shows because they got tired of their attitude.
Yeah, happens
Yeah.
all the time.
I mean,
I was hearing the
fame is
behind the scenes stories of the TV show Lethal Weapon, and how much that Damon Wayans was such a negative on the set. He complained a lot. He cussed people out, and
wow.
and and knowing not knowing him personally, but just being a fan of his, I would have never thought he was like that. But hearing multiple people say, I mean, you never know who. It's different when they say action and them lights and cameras go off. You're a different person. So
Your character
If your character
that was written on the book.
yeah,
Right.
And a lot of people just walked away. Like, I don't want to work with him no more.
Yeah,
Wow, that's
It's-
really
No
something.
matter, and like you said with sport, no matter how good he is, if you don't want to deal with someone's attitude,
yeah,
Right.
yeah.
then
Here, this guy could take you to the championship.
Yeah.
We don't want him because his personality is. We don't want to
It's
deal
too much to
with that.
deal with.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's a lot. That's you got to be good to everybody.
Yeah.
And knowing both of y'all, I know y'all bring it on set as far as personality wise.
Oh yeah.
I understand what y'all
Gotta have
saying.
fun.
So y'all definitely live that. So, all right, so real quickly, as we start to bring this to an end, got one more question for y'all. What style of acting do y'all think y'all most suited for?
I would say drama.
Drama.
Yeah. Drama. Yeah. That works for me. I mean, I could have some comedic influences there, here and there. You should try to find a little bit of everything in every scene that you do, because basically in writing, there is some comedy relief, a little bit, in drama, and you actually run the gamut of emotions in a scene. So I would say drama for me first.
And Charmar, what about you?
I would say probably about what I would like the most is the most challenging for me. And it could be drama, it could be comedy, it could be suspense, it
Just
could
say
be
everything.
thrill. Yeah,
Everything. Jack of all trades.
it's like whatever's going to push me the hardest.
Right.
Make me separate from myself and take me the furthest away from who I naturally am. That's what I love the most.
All right. Well, I thank y'all both for being my guests today. It's been a lovely 30-minute conversation. Time goes by quick.
Yes, it's beautiful.
Y'all have a good day, and thank y'all for watching.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for having us, and much success with